Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me once again here on my Jeronification YouTube channel. Okay, my name is Jerome Wright, and I have up here a painting by Peter Paul Rubens, famous artist and Renaissance artist Peter Paul Rubens, whom like many other artists, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Bernini, and many of these others artists and all that I have come to realize have encoded and encrypted their paintings with references that underlining references, which actually detail how mankind was created, the origins of these bloodlines, and how they are being manipulated and genetically altered, and the process being continued into through today. It's my position that who we are, where we came from, and how we're being genetically contaminated was always known. And the record of it, it's always been my position that a procedure on such a scale would have to have a massive record. And it's my position that the massive record is shown in artists. You give me a famous artist, I will give you a breakdown of their artwork on which they are referencing the genetic contamination of mankind's genes. This is what this is all about. Okay. It's a hidden knowledge that has always been known. I can take this back for you people back to catacomb images, first, second, third centuries, and then there's other artworks that our world does not even know about, that these people never even know about, that I can actually bring you into as well. But anyway, I want to show you something here. This is by Peter Paul Rubens, and it's called The Deposition. Okay, you can Google this image. This is why I love breaking down art for you people, because all you have to do is Google the image, and you can see for yourself what I'm actually pointing out to you. Okay, I can see many, many, many things in there, but what I try to do is point out the obvious, so you can go to it and have like an aha moment and say, you know what? I mean, I'm sold. This is it. This is actual. All right. Now, it's always been my position. The cross is behind Jesus. It's always been my position that the cross represents the cross referencing of mankind's genes. You can ask anybody in religion, you can ask anybody in either higher or lower, and you know what their position is about the cross. Their definition about the cross is the way they define is just a given. That's it. For the first time ever, through my discoveries, okay, this is what I define the cross as being: the cross referencing of mankind's genes with that of animals' genes. Okay, um, the cross referencing of living beings' genes. All right, because there's many involved. All right, so one day you're gonna this is gonna be accepted worldwide. After my discoveries go global, this is what the cross is going to be defined as, based on what I've discovered. Okay, that the cross references the cross referencing of mankind's genes and genetics. Okay, with that of the origins of their founding building blocks and stones. All right, so let me show you something about this. Showing Jesus being lowered from the cross. All right, it's my position that by all of these characters, you see this, what this is here? This is a cyclination. Look at this for what it really is. Okay? Take the divinity aspect out of this. Remove Jesus from the picture. You know what this is showing you, people? Genetics in motion. Showing you that this man was cross-contaminated, and then genetically, these genes were extracted from him. To sacrifice that, he sacrificed himself for mankind, for the benefit of mankind. Which mankind? His Caucasian counterparts. Not all mankind. For his Caucasian counterparts. And I'm not making this thing a racial thing and all of that, people. So stay away. I'm not into that. You know what I mean? I'm not into that. I'm not just stating that. What I'm telling you is that it shows you how this man was bridged over, because just like with Jesus, everybody in my mind is of the same origins, which I've discovered to be, which is ape, There's the reptilian ape that I discovered to be in our genetic evolution and becoming, and every person that Jesus had. I mean, every genetically who Jesus is from everything being bridged over all mankind, meaning through over the continent of Africa and through every man that and civilization that we have today, through to becoming what they are. They're all in one. They're like, I mean, our Caucasian counterparts are genetically everything that everybody once were. They are a byproduct of every man. That's what our Caucasian counterparts are. Point blank. Okay. Now, now that I kind of explained that away, let me show you something here. What I'm trying to tell you. All right. Who was Jesus? If what I'm stating to you is true about this painting, then I should be able to easily show you what is genetically being said here. What was removed from Jesus? His semen. How was it removed? It's showing you orally. See the man with the cloth in his mouth? This is Jesus' semen. This cloth represents his semen. Here's a carrier of his semen. There's a carrier. Every person that is pulling and tugging at this sheet, which represents Jesus' semen, is carrying his genetics. The serpent, which represents reptilian. I know what this means. I'm not going to give you full detail. Okay? But here's the bloodline. Person in red is carrying the bloodline, telling you that he orally took the blood of Jesus. Now I'm going to stop there for a minute. You're going to say impossible. Well, people, today we can freeze these these genetics, blood and semen, and they can be preserved in that way. But back then they didn't do it. You know how everything was being preserved and how everything was being manipulated? They carried it in the body of the targeted figure. This is why it was important that this person either stayed a virgin or stayed celibate. You know, the genes and genetics of a person can be carried in another person's body. And this is how they lived on. Contamination. Now you're probably saying, well, a drop or two. No, these people have been doing this since day one. In other words, I'm going to give you an example. If you took a pinch of this man's blood, eventually, if he had a dominating gene, that pinch of blood would dominate your body. So let's just say that they knew the proper chemistry and the amount. Let's say 2 cups of blood, of Jesus' blood, which secured him being resurrected in another body. You see what I'm driving at here, people? Contamination of each other. They made sure that the person that they wanted, that was utilized, that was sacrificed in this way, their bodies became vessels. So, in other words, this was me. I done drank 3 or 4 cups of Jesus' blood. It would be guaranteed in a certain amount of time that Jesus' dominating bloodline would contaminate my bloodline, and ultimately, his body would be procured in my body. And that's what this is all about. Now, I'm going to show you something. Look at this for 1 minute. I'm gonna go into a climax before I close this out to people. But look at this. Makes absolutely no sense, does it? But check this out. Notice that the guy that's carrying the bloodline. Notice that it also shows the semen and the reptilian line going into his body as well too. And it's got this part going into at his throat, meaning that it was orally taken in, as it is suggested here. These are carriers. I like to describe this as, let's just say Jesus had AIDS. All of these people are now infected with this man's body. And this is how these genes were being sent out. Now, remember the story of how they said Jesus destroyed nations without lifting a sword? This is what this was about. Cross contaminating. You don't have to lift a sword if you destroyed everybody genetically. Without raising a hand, he destroyed nations. You don't have to lift a sword if genetically you don't contaminated them. Jesus being resurrected. If he's genetically contaminated through religion and everything else, when they hand you that communion, that body of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, and that wine, if people are contaminating you for this man, then if I have AIDS, here's another scenario. I like giving you reasonable scenario. If I have AIDS, I go to local church where communion is being passed out. Okay, I'm dead and gone. I done died of the disease. I had full blown AIDS and I done died. Now, the blood of my body has been procured, been saved. My semen and everything's been saved. So now, not only have the people there that's giving you communion have intentionally become infected with my full blown AIDS because they done drank my semen, they done put my blood in their body. So everything that I have, they have because they, through this cult like ritual, have cross contaminated themselves with my genes. So the entire congregation up the higher level, let's go with the popes, the bishops and all of that, they have elected to cross contaminate themselves with my full blown AIDS through their sickness of these changes that they want their body to. They idolize me. So therefore, now, what do they do? Through their belief that this gene of mine is good, is a good gene, they're cross contaminating other people. Unbeknownst to them, of course. So, every time you come into that church that worships me, that cult like sect that worships me, they're giving you a drink of my blood, and the bread that they're breaking with you and giving you in communion is actually genetically my semen. The body of Jerome, which my semen, and the blood of Jerome, which is my blood. And you're getting that. So it's my position that now everything that I live on, because you are genetically carrying me in your body. And ultimately, this new created genetic that is bound to dominate your genes will take over. I will rise again in your body genetically through cross contamination. And this is what these cult like rituals are all about. Now you're probably saying impossible and all of that, this, that. It just doesn't. Well, through your fear of dying and what is going to happen to you through this hell and heaven, this fear factor. I like to call it the fear factor. And you being so afraid of this that you refuse to see the cult like scenario in which in everything that actually that I am stating. But if you think about it logically, it makes sense to you. Because in the first place, here you are in a scenario worshiping things and beings that walk this planet just like you did. Here you are idolizing popes, bishops, and officials in and higher places in in these religious groups that can't do a damn thing for you. Nothing, absolutely nothing, but sell you on a dream. What is more bizarre in that scenario than anything that and worshiping gods that you cannot even see? What is more worse than that? And here I'm exposing the truth to you before your eyes, showing you that you were taken as a sucker. And it's not just with this, it's with everything globally. Not just this, everything globally. Because it's all about genetic contamination and altering mankind's genes from the states from which they originally came from. Now, I'm not going to rant on. I'm going to stop that for a minute. I'm going to show you. I see something here, but I'm going to. It actually is showing you. I'm going to show you something here that. Well, no, I'm not going to show you this, but I can see what is actually being said here too. But I'm not going to show you this right here. I'm going to show you something that you can see. All right, I'm going to close this video real soon here. When you Google this image, I'm going to show you the things that you can see. All right, this image is Peter Paul Rubens' The Deposition. His painting, The Deposition with Jesus. Okay. If you look, let me point you. It's my position that these are genetics in motion, and this is referencing how Jesus, whom was at this point closer to being that of his black ancestor, genetically sacrificed himself to further himself away genetically from the creature from which he evolved, meaning the ape and African. And all of the biblical stories and all of Jesus' journey, excuse me for a minute, all of Jesus' journeys represents how he genetically sacrificed himself at the cross to further himself further away from his ape and African ancestor, and also in doing so, he cross-contaminated nations, and everyone that was involved with him, either religiously or non-religiously, their stories can be referenced as what I just now stated: genetic contaminators and manipulators of mankind's genes, genetic altering. Which genes are we talking about were altered? Here's an encryption style that you can look at. The clothing. You see this guy right here on the ladder? His head is protruding from the head of an ape figure that is in his clothing. His leg is sticking out of the open mouth of the ape. Not just any ape, it's the reptilian ape. I highlighted it here for you. When you go and look at his clothing, you'll see the open mouth, you'll see a nostril, eye socket. The left eye is shown with a little sparkle in the eye, showing you that the eye is there. And then here, when you're dealing with these creatures, they don't include the second eye. It's only one eye, because it's one eye in this world and then one eye in the unknown world. This is what this is all about. I included the eye, but you're not supposed to actually do that. No artist actually done it in their encryption styles. Nostril, nostril. There's a reptilian ape's face there. I even included the hair. It's reptilian. It's an ape bloodline from which mankind evolved. Now, when this reptilian is shown, this reptilian ape is not shown alone. It's always accompanying that of a woman. What woman? The Medusa-like woman. Okay? That Medusa-like woman I dub as the mother of creation. Where might she be at? Whenever you see the ape, you know that wherever, I can tell you that this is being referenced as a woman right here. Just based on if this was a man, I could tell you that it was a woman. You know why? Because wherever the ape is, there is a woman. Okay, I know what this woman is doing here, the entire nine. But anyway, you see the leg here, and you see the foot there placed on the ladder. You see that they're bridged over each other. You see that? That's what that is, a bridging, a ladder, a step up. Now, what is being stated here? Look at this man's foot right here, right there. I'm going to show you something about that. Wherever the ape is, it's a guarantee that that witch-like woman is not too far. The ape is shown with that woman, and all you have to do is just turn the picture to the side, and her face is in the foot of that man, right there. She is the mother of creation, the Medusa, always shown snaking genetically. You see that? Chin, mouth, nose, eye. And they usually have horns on it, showing you exactly what it actually means. You see that coming out of the ape's mouth? The man's foot, and then the face on the end. Now look, people, I cannot stress enough that Jesus' bloodline, which he sacrificed himself genetically, these extractions, all of this can be read. You can follow from his journey of Jesus, from the way I can tell you through which creatures that Jesus genetically was created. At his birth, the miracle baby, there's a reference. Throughout Jesus' journey, the people, the continents, the nations that he contaminated, through which creatures that he bridged himself with to contaminate these locations, and where his bloodline and where his genes are today, which is there at the Vatican and other places in royalty from which this man genetically sacrificed himself for the purpose and the cause. I can show you from the day one through to today where this man's bloodline is at. How can I do that? Now take a look again. This is nothing more than genetics in motion. This is me here with the AIDS virus right there. And all of these people are my carriers, my contaminators. Why did I give myself up on the cross? I know why that occurred too. That'll be a secret that I will reveal when I am global. When I am global, I can tell you why he had to go on the cross. Or why he died on the cross. There's something about that you could possibly never understand, but yet I can explain it to you because I do. My name is Jerome Wright. I'm going to end this video. I don't want to rant on. I'm looking at other images here. I feel like almost like I want to draw. Here, let me draw some other things for you here. Other things that I can see right quick before I end this video. On how Paul Rubens I'm going to show you how these artists have become so famous for their knowledge. I'm going to give you something real quick right here. I'm going to give them to you one at a time before I actually end this video. See the cloth here right there? Covering Jesus's penis. The face of that woman is the same face that's on the foot right here. That man that I just showed you. It's all about these genetics in motion. Which genetics? You see that? The genetics of this creature, which I can trace, the reptilian ape, from the beginning. I can even tell you how that creature was created, from the beginning through to current. Now I'm going to give you something else. I'm going to turn it another way. What if I can do it without... See if I can give it to you without these multi-dimensional images. In Jesus' abdomen, right next to the woman's face that I showed you in the other direction, right here, there's an ape figure right alongside of her. Let me see if I can give it to you without... It's actually, she's upside down now, but there's an ape figure right there. Let me see if I can give you the chin, the mouth, the nostril, and eye, forehead. In Jesus' abdomen. Shows you how these genes from our original ancestor cycle through and an extraction that was made. Paul Rubens, Rembrandt, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and every famous artist that showed Jesus being removed from the cross or anything of that nature relating to Jesus, where you have these scenarios where you're wondering what in the hell is actually being stated here. With all of this, look at this, people. Here, let me take my drawings away. I don't want to confuse you here. But people, what would inspire an artist to put all of these people on removing a man from the cross and in the way that they have here? Look at this. Look at the way the left arm is up in the air, the right arm is coming down, held down, and look at how at each point of his body, a pyramid that is showing that he's being lowered. You know what is showing? That genetically extractions are being made, and these people are contaminated, cross-contaminated with this man's genes. His blood, his semen, his bodily fluids collected, preserved, and sent out to cross-contaminate other places. And where is happening at today? The number one location is Vatican City in Rome. The number one location. That's my position. My name is Jerome Wright. You're watching my Jeronification channel. This is Paul Rubens, The Deposition. If you want to follow this video, basically, all you have to do on what I was stating here is go here. My position that this is the open mouth of a reptilian ape. If you find that hard to believe, I have by Francis Kupta, I have other videos about the reptilian ape. The reptilian ape is only became known through my discoveries. That's the only way the reptilian ape has ever been known to be involved in mankind's evolution. I know where the reptilian ape came from. I'm not just making this up. I know where this creature came from. I can tell you how this creature genetically became mankind. Okay, how this creature was genetically created. However, in this case, this creature is here, showing you hair, eye, nostril, nostril. There's even a horn that's shown piercing the body of this person. Okay, there's a horn there. Then the mouth is open, showing you the leg is coming out, and on the end of the mouth, just like in Medusa, how the Medusa is shown secreting snakes. There's a worm-like creature on the end with the face, the Medusa-like woman right there. This reptilian ape and that snake creature right there, and I don't have the picture up, I can actually show you, which is more compelling. But if you look at my video with Nervi Hall in the Vatican and that sculpture by Finzini, this is there, right there, this scenario. I wish, you know what, maybe I can actually pull that up right quick. If I can, I do have a minute. I'm going to show you this with that right quick. Let me see if I can get that together, because that's more compelling. I have a minute. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I can pull that up right quick. Where's my reptilian ape? Okay, there's my reptilian ape there. Bear with me, people. I got a moment I'm going to take it. That's my Grand Canyon discovery there. That's image. Alright, we have it here. Let me show you that same exact image. Here's the sculpture, Nervi Hall, Finzini, by Finzini, right there. There's the Pope down there. This is the sculpture created by Finzini, and the hall that this is in is Nervi Hall. Remember I told you that I'm going to show you the reptilian ape. I have the ape drawn out. There's the reptilian ape right there. I'm going to draw it out for you. There's an ape nostril there. There's an ape nostril there. There's an eye. There's an eye. And this is the cranial here of the ape. And then in the ape's mouth, it has a linking chain, a genetic linking chain that's shown coming around and goes through. And this is the overlay mouth of the ape right there. Now, I'm going to show you how I have it drawn out. So you can actually get a close-up of that. And it's got it in bigger. Here's the ape right there. Here's the cranial, the right eye, right nostril, left nostril. There's the mouth. You see the linking, genetic linking chain in the ape's mouth right there? That's the reptilian ape right there. That is right here, that ape's head. Now, that snaky, that worm-like creature that I have just shown you, can I bring that in? Oh, I'm gonna give you another picture. Right here is a full picture of that, and that ape is right here. There's the head of that ape right there. How did the reptilian ape come into play? Well, there's the serpent there. There's Jesus' body coming from the head of the serpent right there. This is a full picture of that scenario right here. Here we have Jesus hung in that mass. That picture that I have just shown you shows how, you see how Jesus is hung up there in that mass? This is supposed to be, Fromentin is with Jesus emerging from a nuclear explosion. Well, there was no nuclear blast. There was no, the only nuclear blast is a genetic nuclear blast. That's it. There was no nuclear blast back in his days, unless you want to listen to the ancient alien theorists say, well, maybe they're talking about a meteorite coming in, a meteor coming in and striking our world. Maybe they're talking about that. They want to take your head and spin you around. You already been mind fucked by the religion process of all of this. Now ancient alien theorists and everybody else want to come and fuck your mind a little bit more with science. Bullcrap. Here's the nuclear explosion right here. This is the head of a serpent, a snake, from which mankind emerged from. There's Jesus right there, shown emerging from the snake. So basically what they're telling you is that they know that mankind has been cross-referenced with that creature, and that's why I just put that cross up there in the middle of Jesus' chest, which means mankind being cross-referenced. As I told you, that's what the cross means. Okay, now for those of you that act like you can't see the serpent, basically all you have to do is turn this, and again you can Google this image, and there's the reptile. There's the eye, teeth, open mouth. There's even shows the jawline, the features of that creature. You see that? The nose. I'm going to give you another picture because I actually have it highlighted. Okay? So this is what this is all about. Now, I'm going to get back to the reptilian ape, of course, but here's my highlights of that image. You see that? See that there? You see that little worm in the snake's mouth? I'm going to show you in a minute. I have it highlighted. You see? That's what that looks like. The body of Jesus, the head of a snake, cross-reference, reptiles, mankind. Shows you that we emerged from that creature, which should not be too much of a surprise to you, because our world is an aquarium world. If it's almost 85, 86% all body of water right now, imagine when our planet was first thawing out, because it was a frozen egg. When it was first thawing out, what the body of water would have been then. At one point, it should have been 100% all water, so that would make sense that mankind evolved from the oceanic properties of our world onto land, which then would have became reptiles, and then the reptiles then becoming man. You don't need no scientific proof behind that, people. It's logic, common sense. So, again, all common sense that you're hearing right here from me. Alright, now, this is why I can see what is going on here. Now, look at the snake's mouth. Notice that the snake in its mouth has this wormy looking creature right there. Do I have that highlighted for you to see? Not in this picture, but you can possibly see it. There's the snake's mouth. Well, here. Maybe might be able to highlight it for you in this picture. Out of the snake's mouth, there's this wormy-like creature right there. And coming around, the body, it's a worm, and it has a face on it. I'm going around the head there. I don't know if you can see. Eye there. There's the mouth there. And I have a video on this as well, too. Okay. Basically, what this is a worm creature with the image of man right there on the end of it. So where does the other end of this go? It goes through the snake's mouth, comes around a linking chain, and comes into the side of the face there of what no other than the reptilian ape, showing you a genetic link between this creature and that creature and a creation. Lo and behold, the same thing Paul Rubens captures here. The reptilian ape encrypted in the clothing, the wardrobe of this guy. Am I going right with this? No, going that going on. Coming back this way. And the snake-eating creature, the same exact creature right there, the mother of creation. I. And then showing you a bridge. This image, similar to that image, genetics in motion. Finzini, when he created this, captures the creature that mankind, the reptile that mankind emerged from. And then this is a readable grail showing us who we are. And these bastards here, across here, all knew the whole time. Showing you that he's carrying the contaminated bloodline of this guy, the contaminated genetics of this guy. And his disciples, these bishops, through a step down and breakdown process, all have the same genetics as well too. That's why when you Google these popes, they look like they're sick, like they're on crack. Look green in the face, look demonic like. If they're drinking blood and semen and cross-contaminating themselves with the genes of our world and then cross-contaminating others. I wish I could bring a picture up. Yeah, let me bring a picture back up. Yeah, let me bring a picture. I love bringing a picture. The picture. Let me see if I have it here. Do I have a picture of you, Pope? Yeah. I love doing this. I don't have a picture of the Pope here, I guess. Where's my file for this? My file? Where's that Pope picture at? Why is my Grand Canyon? I have a black and white of that. No, I don't have the picture up here. I do not have the picture up here of that right now, but anyway, I'm gonna let that go. I don't have the picture of that Pope up there, but you can see my other videos here. But again, here's that nuclear explosion thing here again, and look at this, people. Look at that. Tell me that ain't no serpent, a snake. You see, this is what this is all about. And Peter Paul Rubens captures it. Not just him, but every artist that is an artist, or supposedly to be an artist. They all know. Our world's famous art all captures the same exact thing. Now, here's that Fazzini sculpture again. Here again. I have it turned sideways. This, the cranial of the ape, the eye, the nostril, the nostril. Look at the ape's mouth. And then look at the genetic linking chain snapped in the ape's mouth. Look at that. Showing you where it shows you where it went in, broken, and then changed, and then look, and then it shows you an extension of these genetics. A readable grail. Look at the ape's face, people. Look. Nostril, nostril. This is in that Fazzini sculpture. Look at this. Look at the ape's mouth. Look at that. You know that familiar monkey snout? Look at this. That is right here. contaminated genetic. And lo and behold, Paul Rubens has a similar message right here. Not just him though. These artists enjoy this knowledge. This is why they're famous. This is why you're attracted to their work. But they turned it into something divine and makes it okay for you to be fooled because you're fascinated with this. You're not looking at why all of this unusual behavior and patterns of body movements are here. Because you're too fascinated with a man that walked this planet just like you have. You started idolizing. When you started idolizing this guy, everything else that was going on around him, no matter what it was, which included all of the things that he done, which was homosexuality, bisexuality, molestation, all of that, children, whatever it took for these genes to be created, um, acts of engaging with animals, horses, lambs, cross contaminations, all to break down the genetics of the origins of mankind, which was reptilian, ape, and African, to change from this likeness through to this likeness. And this is nothing about being racist and black and white, because this man evolved from our blackest of ape ancestor and our blackest of African ancestor, and who he is used to be this, just genetically altered. An extension. My name is Jerome Wright. You're watching my Jeronification channel, and I'll see you on my next video. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me once again here on my Jeronification YouTube channel. Okay, my name is Jerome Wright, and I have up here a painting by Peter Paul Rubens, famous artist and Renaissance artist Peter Paul Rubens, whom like many other artists, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Bernini, and many of these others artists and all that I have come to realize have encoded and encrypted their paintings with references that underlining references, which actually detail how mankind was created, the origins of these bloodlines, and how they are being manipulated and genetically altered, and the process being continued into through today. It's my position that who we are, where we came from, and how we're being genetically contaminated was always known. And the record of it, it's always been my position that a procedure on such a scale would have to have a massive record. And it's my position that the massive record is shown in artists. You give me a famous artist, I will give you a breakdown of their artwork on which they are referencing the genetic contamination of mankind's genes. This is what this is all about. Okay, it's a hidden knowledge that has always been known. I can take this back for you people back to catacomb images, first, second, third centuries, and then there's other artworks that our world does not even know about, that these people never even know about, that I can actually bring you into as well. But anyway, I want to show you something here. This is all right. It's my position that by all of these characters, you see this, what this is here? This is a cycle of nation. Look at this for what it really is. Okay? Take the divinity aspect out of this. Remove Jesus from the picture. You know what this is showing you, people? Genetics in motion. Showing you that this man was cross-contaminated And then genetically, these genes were extracted from him to sacrifice that. He sacrificed himself for mankind, for the benefit of mankind. Which mankind? His Caucasian counterparts. Not all mankind. For his Caucasian counterparts. And I'm not making this thing a racial thing and all of that people. So stay away. I'm not into that. You know what I mean? I'm not into that. I'm not just stating that. It's just a given. That's it. For the first time ever, through my discoveries, okay, this is what I define the cross as being: the cross referencing of mankind's genes with that of animals' genes. Okay, um, the cross referencing of living beings' genes. All right, because there's many involved. All right, so one day you're gonna this is gonna be accepted worldwide. After my discoveries go global, this is what the cross is going to be defined as, based on what I've discovered. Okay, that the cross references the cross referencing of mankind's genes and genetics. Okay, with that of the origins of their founding building blocks and stones. All right, so let me show you something about this. Showing Jesus being lowered from the cross. By Peter Paul Rubens, and it's called The Deposition. Okay, you can Google this image. This is why I love breaking down art for you people, because all you have to do is Google the image, and you can see for yourself what I'm actually pointing out to you. Okay, I can see many, many, many things in there, but what I try to do is point out the obvious so you can go to it and have like an aha moment and say, you know what? I'm sold. This is it. This is actual. All right. Now, it's always been my position. The cross is behind Jesus. It's always been my position that the cross represents the cross referencing of mankind's genes. You can ask anybody in religion, you can ask anybody in either higher or lower, and you know what their position is about the cross. Their definition about the cross is the way they define.